Last time on New Hope, future Gohan traveled back in time to bring future Trunks home. In this story, Cell was victorious and eliminated all of our heroes except Krillin. While that arc has already concluded, today, the Gohan and Goten of different timelines get to know the brother they never knew they had. Brothers from another mother. Picking up where we left off. After a short skirmish with Goten, he reveals he's only here because he's from 20 years in the future. He's not their original Gohan. In fact, he comes from the same future as Trunks, who came here 16 years ago. They met him, right? Naturally, only Chi-Chi did. He was a charming young man. It's thanks to him Goku survived his heart disease. Fun fact, pretty much only the English dub calls it the heart virus. To Gohan, this means he's arrived in the same timeline as him. Finally letting his guard down a little, Goten mentions how Krillin and Bulma told him about the chaotic situation in the future. But what happened next? To put it simply, a lot happened. He'll explain it all to him. So, Gohan began to tell his mother and little brother about all the events that had taken place in his future. This helps to further put him at ease and even appear a bit endearing to his alternate history sibling. It's good to hear everything's back to normal in his future. But, he wonders, if everything's fixed, why did he come here? Is it to prevent humanity's suffering from the start? Before wishing me back to life, Bulma asked Porunga to resurrect Trunks, but that was beyond his power as Trunks died in another timeline. Only the Dragon Balls from your timeline can bring Trunks back to life. Bulma also gave me a spaceship with the coordinates of New Namek. I intend to travel there in order to resurrect Trunks and bring him back with me. A concept Goten never thought of, but it makes sense that a dragon's power can only apply to the realm he's currently in. When Chi-Chi asks if she's still alive in the future, she must have become a wrinkled old granny. But her son is sure she's fine and has never looked younger thanks to Bulma inventing a rejuvenating cream. Something she may just have to recommend to the Bulma of this time. Now Gohan wants to hear what happened in their timeline. He has to admit he's been a bit in the dark ever since he arrived. His brother politely explains how, despite some similarities with his future, the timeline here evolved quite differently. First of all, Gohan doesn't have any need to travel to New Namek because they have Dragon Balls on Earth. But what? They have a set of Dragon Balls? How's that possible? Piccolo didn't die against the cyborgs? This video is sponsored by
Marvel Strike Force.
Marvel Strike Force is the mobile squad RPG that allows you to battle with your favorite team of superheroes and supervillains against threats like Doctor Doom and Apocalypse. Power up your favorite characters to complete missions. Unlock gear and other resources to beat other players in PvP modes such as Alliance War and Arena. If you're new, you can unlock up to 17 total characters right away, including Spider-Man, Deadpool, Thor, and more. New characters are constantly being released, and you don't want to miss out on their limited-time character release events. Assemble your squad by mixing and matching characters from all corners of the multiverse for an experience unlike other single-player games. I personally like to play while I'm waiting for videos to render, or just when I'm lying in bed at the end of the day. Along with campaigns, Blitz, and Arena, there's also Alliance War, a massive weekly alliance battle. Then there's Raids and Cosmic Crucible, where you go head-to-head against other players in a tournament. Download Marvel Strike Force for free using the link in the description, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. By using my link, you're genuinely helping us keep the lights on around here. Don't forget to use the promo code DEC24 to unlock Captain Carter, Star-Lord T'Challa, and Strange Heartless for free. That's 100 Captain Carter shards, 50 Strange shards, 50 Star-Lord shards, 1,440 L2 training modules, and 360,000 gold to kickstart your journey. But just like in his future as of recently, the Namekian Dende has become their new guardian. Chi-Chi also compliments him on being very kind and well-educated, just the opposite of Piccolo. Unlike the future timeline, the Piccolo here fused with Kami, thus creating a need for a new set of Dragon Balls before the Cell games the future never had. This must mean that they went to New Namek at some point too. But if they have Dragon Balls, why has no one been wished back? Goten starts. Now I'm going to tell you everything from the beginning. But believe me, you're in for a lot more surprises. going over every last detail. Gohan can't believe everything he just told him. What happened next? And well, after ravaging the universe, Cell returned to Earth 3 years ago. Krillin was ready. To buy time, he went alone to face Cell while I trained inside the Room of Spirit and Time. Not long later, I went to fight Cell but lost. Krillin sacrificed his life to finally defeat him. Is that all, Goten? Chi-Chi asks. You're not even going to tell your big brother how you humiliated that cockroach. Gohan nods in agreement. That's true. I'm curious to know more about your fight against Cell. But Goten dismisses the topic with a simple shake of the head, lifting his bowl to take another bite. There's nothing more to say about it, he replies matter-of-factly, though clearly trying to hide his true feelings. His mother smiles pridefully. You're far too modest, my son, her tone both kind and admiring. From the lookout, we could see everything about your fight with Cell. Believe me, Gohan, your little brother is incredible. Cell was scared to death. He's a worthy heir to both you and Goku. That's enough, Mom! You know very well how my fight ended. His frustration finally breaking through. I was so incredible that I ended up impaled by Cell. It was Krillin who saved us and certainly not me. The room falling quiet for a moment as he takes a breath. I wasn't up to the task and Krillin had to sacrifice his life. I failed against Cell. And in that sense, you're right. I am indeed a worthy heir of my father and my brother. Much of his childhood, Goten carried disdain towards the so-called heroes of Earth, believing if they were so great, they wouldn't have fallen to Cell. We see here this lament coming full circle with his own defeat. The shame lingers as he sits back down. Getting back to our Dragon Balls, he says, addressing Gohan. In theory, you should be able to resurrect Trunks because Dende had increased their powers before Cell's return. There's no longer a time limit for bringing a person back to life. In return, only a single wish can be granted, he adds. In order to bring back New Namek and Cell's other victims, we summoned Shenron last year, which means you'll have to wait a few months for him to become active again. That's great news! Gohan exclaims, his face lighting up with enthusiasm and relief. I had planned to stay 6 months anyway. That's how long it takes to recharge my time machine. Goten stands. That settles it. Well, I'm off to bed. Good night. See you tomorrow. Good night, Goten! Gohan replies with endearment. Krillin and Goten seemed very close, he softly mentions to his mother, his voice a little melancholy. The weight of Krillin's absence lingers. Chi-Chi explains again, her voice heavier this time. Yes, Krillin was his master. He trained Goten over several years. I've noticed it more since his death, but above all, Krillin was the only friend Goten ever had. 3 years have gone by and the wounds have not fully healed. Chi-Chi continues. I thought time would sort things out, but the truth is your little brother never really got over Krillin's death. Goten is facing the most difficult ordeal of his life, overcoming the loss of a loved one for whom he feels responsible, she concludes. I understand, Gohan utters solemnly. I had the same relationship with Trunks in the future. I admired him. After my death, he also had to go through the same ordeal as Goten. He pauses for a moment, reflecting before continuing. The only difference is that here, Krillin succeeded in leaving a world of peace, unlike me who died in vain. Chi-Chi interjects reassuringly. Don't be too hard on yourself, my son. That was a long time ago, and need I remind you that since then, you've completely restored peace to your world. Anyway, I'm so happy you'll be staying for the next 6 months with us. I'm sure your presence will do Goten a world of good. A smile spreads across his face as she brightens the mood. As always, you're right, Mom. I too look forward to spending more time with my little brother. The night comes and goes. Then Chi-Chi barges in cheerfully to wake the boys up. What? She informs there's something they need to see, causing Goten to grouchily question what's wrong with her waking them up so suddenly. And Goten will have a say when he contributes financially to the household, promptly changing his tune. Beforehand, Gohan has to point out just how much he looks like their dad with his hair down, something he hasn't had to hear since he was a little kid. Chi-Chi goes to switch the TV on. She's got a better alternative to field work for him. As we announced earlier, the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament will take place in exactly 4 weeks on the island of Papaya. This edition of the tournament is in honor of the 2 anonymous heroes of Earth who freed us from the yoke of the horrible Cell. Maybe we'll have a chance to see them compete. Chi-Chi informs that both of them will be taking part in this tournament. Huh? What? No thanks. I'd rather work in the fields. On top of that, it's a tournament for Earthlings, so it wouldn't be ethical for us to take part. Chi-Chi stands dominantly before her children. I lost a husband and a son so that humanity could live in peace and have a chance to organize that tournament. You're going to take part and bring me those 20 million zeni. Understand? But Mom, that's impossible, Goten protests. Ever since Bulma's announcement about the 2 Earthling heroes and Cell's death, everyone's been looking for them. If I take part, my whole school will recognize me and I'll never be able to step foot there again. Gohan is much less argumentative. Yes, Mom. He relents, his shoulders sagging in defeat. He knows there's no use arguing with her when she's this resolute. Chi-Chi crosses her arms, a triumphant grin spreading across her face. I don't see how that's a problem at all. With all that money, I'll be able to pay for home lessons. So with that, you can complete your last 2 years of high school from home. Topic closed. Time for breakfast. Gohan rubs the back of his head awkwardly, letting out a resigned sigh. It looks like we've got no choice. Beside him, an expression of utter defeat and dread floods Goten's face. That's unfair! He brokenly whimpers. Goten contemplates this. We mustn't show off our powers too much, or everyone will link us to Cell's death. But first of all, we have to find a way to hide my face during the tournament. Gohan lightens up the room a tad. I know, let's go see Bulma. She'll surely be able to help you. That's right, that's a good idea. Goten's spirit lifts as the plan takes shape. From even the outside of the house, Chi-Chi's commanding voice booms through the morning air. But first, come and have your breakfast! Moments later, Chi-Chi stands in the yard with her 2 sons. She watches as Gohan and Goten prepare to leave. Give my regards to Bulma and don't forget to tell her about that rejuvenating cream. Will do. See you later, Mom! Soaring away to see Bulma, Gohan mentions, Goten, I'm sorry about yesterday. I shouldn't have insisted that you tell me about your fight with Cell. His face reflects regret, knowing he may have pushed too hard. Goten shakes his head slightly as he continues flying through the air. Don't worry, it's only natural you wanted to know more. His tone reassuring. It's just that Mom has a bad habit of trying to embellish my fight against Cell, when, as I told you, Krillin is the real hero. There's no longer any bitterness in his voice, only a firm conviction in giving credit where it's due. When I think about it, I don't know what's more surprising, Gohan comments. Krillin becoming a cyborg or the fact he managed to defeat Cell. I can just imagine the look on his face when I tell him what happened here. He'll never believe me. That's true that in your future Krillin came back to life. Even if he doesn't know me, will you give him my regards? Goten glances over at him. Of course, you can count on me. Want to race to Bulma's? I'm way past the age of childish games. Goten responds with a flat tone, though the hint of an unseen smile betrays his amusement. Just kidding! Let's arrive and wash the dishes from tonight's dinner! Ha ha ha! Goten, you cheater! I'll show you! Well, little brother, looks like you'll be doing the dishes tonight! Ha ha! We'll see about that! minutes later. Goten lands triumphantly in front of Capsule Corp, his grin wide and teasing. You're 21 seconds late. I won. You cheated. Come on, don't be mad. You'll get your revenge on the way back home. I hope so, and no cheating next time. Promised, Goten laughs, already moving ahead. Let's go. Bulma's going to be really surprised to see you. The pair approach the Capsule Corp building. Inside, a video monitor lights up as Gohan appears on the screen. Hi, Bulma. It's me, Gohan. 1 hour later. Bulma exhales a puff of smoke, though her expression is heartwarming. You came for Trunks? She responds with a shocking revelation. Goten has probably already told you, but 16 years ago, it was Kaio who opposed the resurrection. We never knew why, but it's possible that it's still relevant today. Yeah, I know about that, but that won't stop me. I won't leave without Trunks, Gohan vows. That's the promise I made to you and Vegeta in my future. I also need your help to recharge my time machine. Bulma replies, Of course I'll take care of your time machine. Thanks for everything, Gohan. I know how important you were to Trunks. He'd be so happy to know you restored peace to your world. She makes her way across the room, a hint of humor in her tone. Well, if I understood correctly, it's largely thanks to me and my unfailing determination that everything's back to normal. What would you do without me, huh? Gohan laughs, leaning forward on the couch. Haha, you said the exact same thing in the future. I too have a favor to ask of you, Bulma, mentions Goten, who casually holds a drink. I have to hide my face at all costs during the tournament. Mom is forcing us to take part in the next martial arts tournament to bring her the 20 million Zenian prize money. The scientist low-key rolls her eyes. How many times do I have to tell that mother of yours to ask me if she's in need? 20 million is not a big deal. That's what I told her. He shrugs, his voice both oblivious and matter-of-fact. With a sheepish smirk. Well, you know my mom. She says it's not up to you to provide for us. She doesn't have a problem with that in the future, mentions Gohan, acknowledging a shred of shamelessness. Bulma gestures. Wait here, I won't be long. It's ready! All you have to do is press the red button on the watch. Looks like Bulma was able to whip this together in only a few minutes. Activating it. Goten is transformed into the Great Saiyaman. Except the mask is way more wicked. Bulma queries what he thinks, while his older brother can barely contain his excitement in the background. Goten, however, has some thoughts. I like the outfit and the helmet, but it's summer. I'll suffocate if I wear it for a whole day. Not to mention the drops of sweat that'll drip into my eyes. Don't you have anything more practical? Clearly, the inventor wasn't expecting criticizing notes. He furthers, and with the cape, it looks a bit lame. But it's way less lame than wearing a t-shirt with your own name written on it. She knows exactly what'll do the job. Getting the same downgrade Gohan got, a hesitant Goten figures this'll do the trick too. Alright, we'll be going soon, Gohan. We still have things to do. However, his brother replies, You go first, I'll catch up. Huh? Why? Goten confusedly faces his brother. Never mind that. It's just something about the time machine. Satisfied. Okay, see you, Bulma. Goten waves to take his leave. Once he's gone, Gohan raises a hand to his face to whisper, Do you have an extra outfit for me? Thanks, Bulma, you're the best! Bulma watches him disappear, her hands on her hips. I'll be coming to watch you two perform in the martial arts tournament. It'll bring back fond memories. Gohan and Goten sit on a cliff overlooking a serene mountainous landscape. the wind gently rustling the parched grass around him. I have a question to ask you about your 20 years in the other world, Goten begins, his voice curious. Why didn't you help Trunks during all those years? Referring to the years Trunks fought alone against the cyborgs. I asked myself the same question when I found myself alone fighting the cyborgs, Gohan tells. Why isn't anyone from the other world trying to help me? It was only after I died that I got the answer. Keeping your body in the other world is a privilege that comes with rules that must be respected. One of the most important of these is that it's formally forbidden to interact with the world of the living. Only the gods are allowed to do so. Continuing with a tinge of somberness. Having to detach myself from the fate of Earth was the most difficult thing for me. Not a day went by that I didn't ask Kaiosama for news about Trunks, but he refused to give me any, so I would let go of my hold on the world of the living. It took me a long time, but being with Dad, Piccolo, and our friends helped me a lot to move forward. Goten tries taking this all in before he responds. I can't help thinking it's a real shame you didn't know about the Room of Spirit and Time before your death. A single day's training would have been enough to take you well beyond the level of the cyborgs. Well, if wishes were horses, then beggars might ride. Your world is at peace again, and that's the most important thing. The time traveler figures. That certain things would have been very different. At the age of 11, I hadn't even reached Super Saiyan yet. But here at the same age, I managed to overtake Dad and even Cell. There's no denying it. When Dad's around, anything's possible. That's what everyone says, Goten mutters with bittersweet acceptance. I can imagine that it couldn't have been easy on you. Growing up without Dad and Gohan. I'm sure Mom's told you, but when I was younger, I felt a lot of anger towards them and their decision not to come back to life. For not having known them? Gohan's curiosity beckons. No, they died before I was born. I've never felt any loss towards them, but I grew up seeing how much their choice made Mom suffer. Looking back at his brother. But that was a long time ago. It's all in the past. Even if you don't come from the same universe, I've still had the opportunity to meet my big brother. And with a slight chortle. And you've had the chance to meet your awesome little brother. Noticing the setting sun, the younger of the duo stands. Let's go home. I'm getting up early tomorrow to prepare for the tournament. Really? You're planning to train? Since I started high school, training hasn't been my priority, he admits, stretching his arms as he speaks. I've been able to keep fit, but not enough to progress. I intend to use the next 4 weeks to get back into high-intensity training. Gohan offers they can train together if he wants. But Goten shakes his head. I don't think that's a good idea. It's already going to be a boring tournament, and we're not going to play the final early. It's better to keep the suspense alive. His brother comes to agree. It will spice up the final. Especially as I have every intention of kicking your ass and winning the tournament. Keep dreaming, little brother. The smile in Gohan's reply matches Goten's intensity. Chi-Chi calls out to Goten that dinner's ready and for him to get his brother.
Go get your brother! Dinner is ready!
But lost in his own world. Although he argues he's in the middle of a game, she doesn't care.
What makes you think I give a damn?
Walking into the bedroom. Goten is cut short when informing him of dinner. Great Saiyaman! Great Saiyaman! Mom, come and see! Gohan has some weird dances! The next few weeks would happen as they do. Goten got back into the serious flow of training. And Gohan got to play his role as superhero that he never got to in his own timeline. As our story continues to play out, why did King Kai request our heroes not be wished back to life? Then with the upcoming tournament, what unforeseen obstacles lie ahead?